Magandang araw po sa inyo. Nanonood po kayo ng Rappler Talk and we are honored and glad to welcome once again to Rappler Miss Dolly De Leon, internationally acclaimed actress, and she's going to talk to us today about a play called Request sa Radyo, in which she is starring and a role that she shares with Lea Salonga. Dolly, thank you so much for coming to Rappler.
Thank you for having me, JC.
It's
Nice
always
to be here again.
always a pleasure, always our honor. So please talk to us about this play. It's a wordless play, no?
Yeah.
Request sa Radyo. Please talk to us about
Yeah,
it.
it's a wordless play written by German playwright Franz Xavier Kritz. He wrote it in the 70s,
Yeah.
and I think there have been several versions of it done in different languages in different parts of the world. And so this version is adapted into the Filipino kind of setting.
Before everything else, saan po nanggaling ang idea to bring this play here? Because it's, like you said, it's from 1973.
Yes.
And he's a German author. So
Yeah.
the milieu that birthed this play was German. And
Yes.
actually, he even had a communist background pa nga.
Yes.
Si Mr. Kritz. So,
Oo.
ano po yung inspiration and what's the story behind bringing the play here?
Si Clint kasi napanood niya actually 3 times to in 3 different versions. Tapos sabi niya, lalo na nung panahon ng pandemic, parang this is a perfect play na ipalabas para mapakita how lonely our overseas foreign workers are because they're all living in another part of the world away from their families. So, ang ginawa niya, inadapt. Si Clint mismo yung nag-adapt ng
Yeah.
script into Filipino.
Yeah, for our audience, that's Dolly's talking about Clint Ramos. who
Our
is-
producer
and designer
set
as well.
designer
Yeah.
as well. And he also adapted it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So ano po yung, to the extent that it's not going to be a spoiler, ano po yung nag-iba? Because for our audience's sake, so, it's an evening in the life of a woman, right?
Yes.
Tapos medyo voyeuristic nga yung dating niya.
Oo.
Parang pinapanood natin siya to go about her evening. Wala siyang kausap.
Yeah.
And therein lies the fascination with the play, no? But ano po yung mga example ng nag-iba? Since wala naman siyang dialogue, paano po mag-iiba?
Iba siya in a sense na marami siya mga Filipino flavors into it. Like, for example, she listens to OPM, so Filipino music. She listens to a radio show, kaya Request sa Radyo, na hosted by a Phil-Am performer. And then there will be little elements like may sense of smell ka rin may experience kasi maaamoy mo kung ano yung niluluto niya. So, maaamoy mo na Filipino ang niluluto niya. So, mga ganon. It's really a very it's a very sensitive kind of performance. You will hear things, you will see things, you will smell things.
Right.
Yeah.
This comes in at a very, auspicious moment. Wow, the word is auspicious.
I love it.
Napakaganda siyang moment because there are many plays going on. And
Yeah.
in fact, ever since the pandemic, tawag nga natin, di ba, revenge theater.
Yes.
Kasi the shows now get sold out. Mahirap bumili ng ticket.
Galing.
Nobody needs to be convinced na
Yes.
manood. Unlike before, iba
Oo.
it's very different. So now, would you say na ready yung audience for something like this? It's not your conventional theater show.
I think so. And I think that we owe it all to the younger generation, yung mga Gen Z. Tsaka pati kayo, mga millennials. Ano kasi, napansin ko, kasi mahilig ako manood ng mga play. Karamihan, majority ng audience talaga, mga Gen Z, mga millennials. So, mga bata na yung nanonood. Whereas, nung pre-pandemic, yung mga Gen X ang mga nanonood, mga boomers. Ngayon, mas bata na yung audience. So, dahil sa kanila, I guess may spending power ang mga bata, di ba? Nakakabili sila ng ticket. So, it's really them who's doing this, who's supporting theater. And that's so important to us kasi theater, when it started here in the Philippines, we only had like 2 or 3 theater groups. Now there are so many. Ang dami-dami na. And totoong nasa-sold out yung mga shows. And theater's doing really well. It's a growing industry here in the Philippines. And that's the best news ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's quiet. Baka may mga ilan sa audience na hirapan sila siguro imaginein paano magiging maganda ang isang play na walang salita. 'Di ba? Help us to understand ano yung pwede nilang ma-expect.
Well, minsan, if you think about it, words are overrated, di ba? Words are just things that we say because we think that's what people want to hear. But in this case, kay Miss Reyes, that's the name of the character, she's all alone in her room without anyone there to observe her. And so she's completely herself, not wearing a mask at all. Because when we go out, we wear masks, di ba? Pero in this case, she's at home, she's herself, she's just, being herself and living her life and doing everything through actions rather than words. So everything is acted out. Everything is physicalized. So may mararamdaman pa rin yung audience based on that.
And we imagine that it's harder work for an actor.
Oh my gosh, yes, ang hirap. Yeah,
Please talk
it's
to us
hard.
about your preparation for this role.
Ang hirap talaga. It's a lot of muscle memory. Kasi with lines, you're able to remember what you're supposed to say because it makes sense verbally in terms of dialogue. Pero this time, it's really more of muscle memory and really getting into the rhythm of Miss Reyes and what she does every night and how these mundane tasks can become daunting for someone. It can become overwhelming sometimes. Very simple tasks that you do every day can become something that's not a very welcome activity to do every time she goes home. So the hope is that the audience will see that and they'll be able to appreciate people more people who live alone, appreciate them more and recognize that it's not easy living alone, especially yung mga workers natin who are all over the world who yun nga leave their families behind and have no one to talk to and try to find some kind of connection in any way that they can, but they really can't.
Yes.
So that's the hope.
We're going to talk more about this need for connection and how the World Health Organization has actually kind of predicted that it's going to be the next pandemic, loneliness. But before we go into that, curious lang po ako, because, di ba sa theater, you're always told to project.
Yeah.
Yeah, your voice, especially musicals, your
Yes.
movements. But here, kailangan, you need to be very real. You need to be very, the word I guess would be organic.
Yeah.
Na you get the audience to completely believe that they're watching a character go about
Yes.
their evening. But at the same time, nandun pa rin yung requirement ng theater to communicate until the last row.
Yeah.
So things need to be, so I imagine there are going to be small moments, little things that the actor will do, but it has to transcend whatever distance there is dun sa hall na yun.
Yeah.
Of course, it's an intimate place, so the hall's not gonna be very big, but still there is that, di ba? May mga bagay tayo na ginagawang maliit that would communicate ano yung pinagdadaanan natin, but it has to service an audience. So
Yeah.
please tell us about that.
That's true. That's where the real challenge is, to be able to reach the people at the back without overplaying it for the people in front.
Yeah.
Diba? So that's the main challenge there. And I think that what we're doing, Leia and I, with the help of Bobby Garcia, our director, what we're doing is we're really trying to be as truthful as possible, to be as real as possible, and that reality, that realism, that authenticity will hopefully break through to the people at the back. So that's why it's tricky, kasi it's theater, but it's not really theater.
Right.
Hindi pwedeng malaki yung acting namin dito kasi it's not going to come across as authentic. So that's the part that I'm nervous and excited about doing.
It's very exciting po. I mean, even I'm excited to watch it kasi
Yeah.
paano kaya,
Oo.
But then,
Especially since I've never done anything like it before.
yes,
So
please talk to us about
So
that.
mas lalo akong kinakabahan and excited to do it. Kasi I'm always excited to try new things. Lagi
Yes.
akong excited to do that. Pero at the same time, syempre may attached fear yun. Kasi first time kong gagawin So, because I've never done this before, it's really a challenge for me as an actor. How am I going to make this work? How am I going to make this look and sound and feel real to everyone while I'm on stage in a venue of 400 people watching us? So, yeah, for me, it's just really all about being in touch with my authenticity and being true to the material and being true to the character and telling her story as faithfully to her as possible.
It's hard enough to do a one-woman show. So yun pa pala. It's a one-woman show. And we've seen one-person shows before. There's one that Monique Wilson did some years back, yung My Name is Rachel Corey. But that was based on an activist's diary. So that one had a lot of words.
Yeah.
And then like you said, this time, walang words kasi can trigger emotions.
Yeah.
It kind of like lays, like connect the dots for the actor na di ba?
Yeah, and that's what makes it really exciting kasi it's never been done before here in the Philippines. And it's really a true test to Leia and I. Pero I feel like we will deliver. I really feel.
I'm sure you
I have a
will.
strong feeling it's going to work. And
I'm sure you will.
because we strongly believe in this advocacy. We really believe in supporting the mental health crisis and hopefully opening people's eyes to it and allowing people who are suffering from it to feel that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to admit that you're going through some kind of loneliness or depression or you're going through a downtime in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's normal and you're not alone.
Thank you for bringing that up. We're gonna delve into the social and the ramifications of the play. But may isa pa po akong question tungkol sa process niyo as an actor.
Okay.
Does an actor need to have gone through the experience itself that they are going to portray? I imagine kailangan, mahilig tayo sa term na hugot. Huhugot ang actor kahit papaano to be able to portray this. And since walang words, the actor will have to like really use their face, their body para gawin ito di ba? So, yun po.
No, you don't. You don't have to go through anything that you act on. You don't have to... you just have to have a lot of empathy for the character that you're playing and find other things that happened in your life that you can see kind of a parallelism to that you can attach it to their reality and connect it to yours. So yeah, you don't have to do that. I mean, for example, if I'm going to play a murderer, I don't have to actually murder someone to know how it feels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. But then all of us have gone through loneliness at some point to some degree.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've gone through it. So I've been through what she's going through, what Miss Reyes is going through. I've been through that. I've been away from home for 6 months, working abroad in a foreign land, speaking a language that is not my first language. Hindi ako nakapag-Tagalog ng 6 na buwan. So, minsan sumasakit yung ulo ko dahil straight English. So, I know how it feels. Pero what more for them na mas matagal? So, at least meron akong konting anchor on that. Meron akong 6 months. So, what more if that's magnified like 5 years or 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what drama does. Theater, film, any form of storytelling is we're able to bring something very personal, something that happens in someone's solitude and make it a shared experience.
Yeah.
And thereby hope na merong, there's progress achieved because of sharing it with an audience.
And art is a mirror of life. It's an imitation of life. It's our way of showing the world this is what we look like. And as long as we were true to the material of Franz Xavier Kritz, then I think that we will reach, we will be able to, what do you call this? We will be able to cross over that message to the audience, especially if they're very open.
Yes. We want to hear your thoughts. Gaano po ka-importante? Like we mentioned na theater is having a good moment right now. May audience tayong nare-reach more than before. It begs to ask, or gusto lang po namin marinig sa pananaw ng isang katulad ninyo na you're a veteran of this industry, well-loved and acclaimed. Bakit po importante na nanonood, nagpo-produce tayo ng mga dula, ng mga pelikula, and and we share a society in this? Especially something like a play na hindi kasi siya, kumbaga, plays are more ephemeral, di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi sila for posterity so much. It happens and then it's done. So why is it still important to mount something like this?
Well, we have food to keep our bodies alive. We have shelter to keep us safe from harm. We need art to keep our souls alive as well, and for us to be able to survive the everyday goings on in life. And art is also an expression in itself by artists. And that's our way of also releasing whatever, hugot we have or whatever angst we have inside. It's a good way of purging it rather than using it in a negative way. We use it for good. So I think art is a very important element in society, in any society. Art has been existing since time immemorial, since the cavemen were here. They were already creating art. Art is a part of our lifeblood. It's our DNA, and we can never turn our back on art. So for people who say that mas magiging successful ka or mas promising kung maging doktor ka or abogado or professional, okay, oo. Importante yung doctor sa society, importante ang lawyer, pero importante rin ang artist.
Right.
Kasi sila ang expression ng soul natin. Sila ang mirror na kailangan natin tignan.
Right. And for the sake of context, una po tayong nagkakilala some years ago. Rodrigo Duterte had just been elected president.
Yeah.
And there was already rumors that he was gonna have
Marcos buried at libingan ng mga bayani.
exactly.
Yes.
And Dolly produced a play festival, a play series called Never Again sa Bantayog
Bantayog ng mga bayani. I produced it together with Ladies Who Launch. 9 plays.
Right. And so in my mind, she's an actor activist. She's an actor, but also she's an activist. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Yes.
I agree. I believe that activism is so much more than going to the streets and going to rallies. It's a part of it, but that's just a small part of it. True activism is, the root word is action, taking action to making the society better and to making your community better. And I like to think that my contribution as an activist is through my work. Through the works that I choose to do and through the kind of... Some people choose advocacies, some people choose to be very active in charity work, in community pantries like Patricia Non, right? The community pantry and the community kitchen by Zena Bernardo. Many people do all these kinds of things. I believe my role here is through my art and through the films that I make, which... like last year, I did a film, Duyan ng Magiting, which is a strong commentary on social inequality and political unrest. So I hope that, I'd like to think that that's my contribution in terms of my activism.
Does that bite back though? I mean, I imagine it's a double-edged sword. If you're an actor-activist, and in a world where minsan, you often hear Filipinos say, good vibes lang. They want good vibes, they want things like, and if your agenda in your arts is to kind of disrupt somehow the status quo, then it may run against your interest as an actor wanting to get projects and all that.
Yeah, well, that's not only true here in the Philippines, it's also true everywhere, all over the world. Anywhere you go, there are people who believe that you shouldn't be mixing politics with anything else in your life, not professionally. But honestly, everything is political. Everything is political. You and I sitting here is political.
Yes.
She standing behind that camera is political.
Yes.
Us meeting a friend is political. Everything we do is political. In fact, when the Vice President said, pinupolitika niya lahat, politika naman talaga lahat.
Right.
Everything is political. I mean, how our country is run is because of politics. So why not be proactive and in making changes to make things better for us? We deserve it. And that's why we've reached this point in our society where we've advanced compared to the way we were 200 years ago, is because of activism.
Yes. I wish to ask you po, you've been a veteran. When we met and you were producing Never Again, that was before Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah.
And then because of Triangle of Sadness and your success in it, you've become more powerful. Dolly De Leon gained more power after.
Really?
After from where I stand, that's how it appears to me. And I want to ask you if you feel that way. Now, there's more. Your voice is more reverb, I would say.
I would say my voice is louder, definitely.
Emboldened you.
I guess not really. I've always been bold, I think. I mean, especially when I did Never Again, Voices of Martial, I've always been very outspoken. But my voice was never heard by anyone years ago. No one listened to me. But now I guess it's louder because more people listen. I guess that's the difference. Yes. So parang now that I have that power that you say that I have, why not use it for good, di ba?
Right.
Parang this is the perfect time pa nga for me to be more outspoken rather than choose to be quiet and just let things happen before our eyes, di ba? di ba? Trabaho natin yun eh.
Yes.
As
And then now,
citizens.
you're gonna be in a play where you're not gonna talk.
I'm not gonna talk.
It's everything else that in your
Yeah.
arsenal that you're going to use, di ba?
Yes.
To bring to light this
Yeah.
plight of many Filipinos. We all know someone who's living alone abroad.
Oh my gosh, yes. And someone who cannot even make a call home because the time difference is so different
Right.
that, people at home are sleeping. So, well, I always believe nga, like I said earlier, actions speak louder than words. And our souls speak louder through our actions rather than through what we say. And I think that this is a play that is necessary. It's a necessary play, and the way that it's going to be staged is even more necessary because the world is so noisy already enough as it is. Too much noise. So I think it's time for some silence and some introspection.
Wonderful.
And we'll get that through Request sa Radyo.
Wonderful. Before I let you go po, I have one more question, but I want to talk to the audience right now. Kami po sa Rappler, we want to encourage conversations like this, safe space and, walang smart shaming. You can talk about things that really matter to us Filipinos. Meron po kaming bagong app. It's the Rappler Communities app. And we invite you to download it. Makikita nyo po yung QR code sa screen niyo ngayon. And dun sa app na yon, meron dyan mga chat channels about different subject areas na importante hindi lang sa mga Pilipino,
okay
pero
na.
kahit sino. Yes, our
Galing.
app. And isa po dun sa mga channels na yon ay the Pop Culture channel. And there we will put a link to this interview when it's live. We will also ways where you can get tickets, how you can watch Request sa Radyo, and also if you want to give any feedback, if you want this
Nice.
conversation to continue, please do so. Please download our app.
What's it called again?
The Rappler Communities
The
app.
Rappler Communities app. I'm gonna
Yes.
download it
Thank
later.
you so much.
I
Thank
will.
you. Because
Do you kick out trash talkers? You should.
there's
They don't
not so
deserve
much moderation,
to be heard.
but exactly. The
Trash
point
talkers.
po is to create a safe space for
Yes,
serious
exactly.
conversation.
Yes, serious
Hindi nasa
conversation.
social media where
Yeah.
there's inauthentic behavior and
True.
all of that. Dito,
Yeah, or trolling.
verified, registered kayo, yun lang. You'll have to register para alam namin totoo kayong tao.
Yes,
Totoo yung
nice.
kausap
Ganda
namin.
niyan.
Thank you. Thank you
Sali
po.
ako dyan.
Salamat po. I wanted to ask you, what's next? After Request sa Radyo, saan pa po kayo pwedeng mapanood?
Sa ngayon, dun sa mga kaibigan nating, mga kababayan natin na nakatira sa Amerika, may 2 palabas. Ngayon, Ghostlight and Between the Temples. And if you have Amazon Prime, Jackpot is showing there. In May, I'm going to have a series coming out, 9 Perfect Strangers. And I'm working on another series here in the Philippines. Can't talk about it yet, but yeah, that's what's happening.
Maganda yung we can't talk about it yet. I mean, that's
diba?
exciting. It's great to be, we can't wait to see more of you.
Thank you.
And your work in
Thank you,
different
JC.
platforms. Sa pelikula, sa entablado.
Yes, 5 years na ako hindi nagpe-play. First play ko to after 5 years.
Oh.
So, oo.
So, and then hindi kayo pwede magsalita.
Okay lang yun. Okay lang
Yeah,
yun.
yeah.
Oo.
It's new and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait to watch. Dolly
Thank
De
you.
Leon, maraming salamat,
Salamat
for coming
po.
to Rappler sa audience. Maraming
Thank
salamat
you.
po for tuning in. And please do watch Request sa Radyo. Opening on October 10, running until October 20.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Please watch Request sa Radyo at Samsung Performing Arts Theater on October 10 to October 20, starring Lea Salonga and yours truly, Dolly De Leon. 2 shows every day. 1 for Lea, 1 for me.
Kasi nakakapagod, hindi pwedeng dalawa.
Kasi 2 magkaibang attack yun.
Oh, panoorin
So,
niyo twice.
magandang panoorin both.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Maraming salamat po. And that's it for this episode of Rappler Talk. See you again next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you watching both?